Twitter. Cool. Sweet, sweet. Cool. Let's just, if you can, man, just retweet the tweet I just put out on Doublejump, trying to amplify the message. Yeah. Sweet. Awesome. Let's, I think we're live. Are we live? Yeah, we live. Yeah.
You are now listening to Doublejump Radio.
G'day, everyone, and welcome to another live recording of Doublejump Radio. I'm your host, Abir, and I'm joined by my co-host this week, John. John, how are you, my friend?
Pretty good. Pretty relaxed. Not as tired as usual because I didn't work as much today, which is nice.
Still working hard, though.
Yeah, hard in quotes. But how about you?
No, it's been busy week with everything, but we're really excited. We've been I think we had a reality check that we might need to move a bit closer to the city, considering how far we live now. So we're thinking about like maybe renting or something towards the city, and then her parents would stay here where we are right now. But everything's ridiculously expensive. Even renting isn't that reasonable anymore.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, as I understand it, like purchasing your own home tends to be more financially like better. I mean, it's whatever. I don't know. As I understand, it's like cheaper week to week sometimes. So
yeah, and you get the benefit
tough
of
time.
house values go up, and you can use like kind of the equity in there to help you get another place if you want to and stuff. But yeah, either way, like it's not really easy anymore.
Right.
Compared to like when our parents were like not growing up, but like when they were younger. I don't know what I'm saying, but yes, that's what I mean. Adult stuff, boring adult stuff. Anyway.
Let's get back to the kids stuff.
But yeah, let's kick things off by talking about some of the big stories, some of the articles that went up over the past week or so on Doublejump. The first one was that a news piece by Jake. John, tell us a little bit about what Jake wrote on. Really awesome news.
I don't remember. It's not on the show notes.
Oh yeah. Never mind. I was meant to talk about that. Like, sorry, folks. It's live. We're not lying here. We're actually telling the truth. Yeah. So Australian football / soccer superstar Sam Kerr is going to be the first ever female soccer player to be a cover athlete for a FIFA game. I guess EA's FIFA.
Oh, it's
So
the last FIFA game.
it is the last EA made FIFA game.
Right.
So yeah, Sam Kerr will join. Terrible with his name. How do I say Mbappe? Mbappe. Yeah, Mbappe is. I think that's how you say it. Jake, where's the first name? Come on, Jake. Not everyone knows him as. I feel bad. Kylian Mbappe, who's a French, plays for the French national team, but is from the PSG, the Paris Saint-Germain kind of men's team, and Sam Kerr, who's part of the Australian squad, the Matildas, I think they're called, and she's a superstar for Chelsea in the UK. So it's like a great pairing, and like it's great to see. I guess it's great to see like young, awesome talent being nurtured, but it also makes me feel old because this is not my generation of football. all the players I grew up with are probably like in their late stages of their career, so it's like good and bad.
Yeah, all these teenagers in the sport now.
Nah, but yeah, but no, it's super awesome news, especially because there's been a I don't know, like there's been a lot of shit around representation and a lot of blowback and things like that. And it's great to see that not FIFA, sorry, EA actually pushing to have, you know, a female player, you know, be representing their like premier game. It's probably the biggest game that EA makes, and doing that like on store shelves and putting the money where their mouth is, so to speak. I'm sure you feel the same, John.
Yeah, it's like I think it's. I mean, as from a far distance, as someone like I don't play these sports games because I don't follow sport, etc. But it's like like it's the same with the NBA games. Like they've kind of been pushing for like female teams and like that kind of like that aspect of the game is I'm guessing is just something they're kind of putting more and more time into as they kind of as like a more full blown like what do you call it? Not side feature, but like another extra like aspect of the game alongside the normal men's football stuff. So it's like it's kind of it's cool to see like more and more prominence for it as they continue to invest in it.
100%. And let's be honest, I'm not expecting the like the next official FIFA game, like whoever ends up making that. I just get the feeling that they might take a couple of steps backward in terms of representation and even probably the marketing. So you know what? It's the first and unfortunately maybe the last for a while for an officially FIFA branded game. But hopefully EA keeps it up and continues, kind of pushing for representation on store shelves around the world. But I guess moving from one like awesome piece of news to another awesome article, Ben wrote a review on Stray, which I think you and I have been like kind of talking about it like every once in a while because we remember that game exists. Like, it's like, what happened to that game? And then it's out.
Yeah, it's like gets a trailer every so often of the PlayStation thing or some other thing.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh yeah, and then I know I'm like I think it's been like people have been aware of it for a long time.
yeah.
I feel like I've only learned of it in the last year or so, maybe. Like
Yeah,
I really like. I feel
yeah.
like when I first heard about it, it's like everyone else already seemed to know about it. It's like, oh, that's unusual for me.
Yeah, because I
But
think it was announced in like, I remember, I think it was like a Game Awards game. It was like, one of those things that you just see a small snippet of in like one of the montages, or it might even been like the last E3, like 2019 or something. And it's just like kind of, I vaguely remember seeing that, like a snippet of it in like a montage. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like everyone going, what the hell is that?
is that a cat? But it's so Ben wrote a very good review of it that went up a couple of days ago, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old it is, but he very much liked it. Kind of breaks down a lot of what it does. Well, I mean it's a review, but it's like it's very like it's kind of echoes a lot of things I've been hearing about it since it launched, which is that it is surprisingly like fantastic in qualities you don't really expect it to be, like on like narrative and thematic level, and everything just kind of fits together nicely. So it's I think his verdict is, quote, Stray is beautiful to look at, beautiful to play, and has a real genuine heart. It's seriously worth your time and money. So it's I have it installed on my PS5. I feel like reading Ben's review just kind of like kicked it up. It's like, oh, okay, I'll play it soon then.
Because you've got the was it PlayStation Extra, PlayStation Plus Extra, which is like the medium tier now of PS Plus.
Yeah, like the there's Extra, and then there's, in Australia at least, there's Deluxe. Elsewhere it's slightly more expensive because it has PS3 streaming and stuff. But I've got that middle one, and that's where Stray launched as a day one release for PS Plus services. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, like, how much is that? How much is that middle tier? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I want to say it's like 120 a year or something, because I didn't have to pay much for it because I had like because I won't go into it, but it's like I had a discounted PS Plus membership, like 20% off or something when I got it last time. So when I had to upgrade the rest of my time, because you don't just buy like an extra
Okay.
month, you have to upgrade the rest of your duration.
Of course.
Um, yeah, which is kind of, but it ended up being like not much, like $20 for the rest of the year or something, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I got
yeah.
caught out by that auto renewal. Because like I usually like I always
Oh,
wait for the 20%, but then I think there wasn't a 20. I must have missed a 20% something recently, so it auto renewed at the full $80 for the year for like the standard base, PlayStation Plus Pro
okay.
Edition or whatever they call it now. And then so I wonder if yeah, I think it was around 120 for the full thing, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll get it. Maybe in the future if more games come to it.
Yeah, it's definitely like the deluxe one is very much like that for me, where it's like it's not much more
Yeah,
for me. Like I think it's not. I know I want to say it's probably like $15 or something if I wanted
yeah,
to upgrade the rest of the year,
yeah,
which is not much. But it's like the classics collection on the deluxe tier is like very middling, and I'm just not that drawn to it. Except for like I want to. The only thing I want to try is like Ape Escape games because I think it
mm,
has one or two, like 1 and 2 on
yeah,
it. I haven't played those, and I have a feeling I'll really like it. But it's just like I don't know. Like I feel like I'd probably be better off just emulating it on my PC, like I talked about Spyro the other week,
yeah,
playing it that. Like that feels like I'd probably just get. I don't know. I know that's not
yeah.
ethically good, but it's just I'm
No,
not sure
but
if it's worth.
you already own the original games. Is that the loophole? Is that the?
Well, I don't. But
You mean you do, right?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for the pricing, 12 months of PS Plus Essential is $80 a year Australian. The Extra, which is the middle tier, is $135 Australian, and then Deluxe is $155 Australian. So, yeah. So with I guess like compared to, Xbox Game Pass. So Game Pass Ultimate is, I think it's $15 a month, so 180 a year. So
Okay.
no matter what tier you go with, you'll still be like cheaper than Game Pass. But I guess the difference there is Game Pass has more games technically in like day one access and in the library, and also like like a lot more backward compatible games, like going back to the original Xbox if it's in the library, and also includes PC. So I think Sony's done the smart thing and like undercut where it could.
Well, it's like I think the 180 thing. I think it's probably like only true in Australia. Like it might. I
Yeah,
think the opposite. Like I think it might be
might
the
be
same
different.
price overseas. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but it's yeah, no, they definitely challenges what you value. I guess
Mm.
depends on what you want. Like if like unless you just want both, but
Yeah.
it's hard to justify. I think.
Yeah. Nah, fair enough. Anyway, that's going to do it for, I guess, the articles that have gone up over the past couple of weeks. Eagle-eyed viewers and eagle-eyed like kind of readers would have noticed that we've had a couple of digests go up over the past couple of weeks, and essentially what's going on is that Jake is trialing a new revised format of the digest that is a bit more shorter and to the point. I think it's something that we'd love to have more of, kind of that news on the site that's like more easily quote unquote digestible compared to the podcast. So if you folks please let us know what you think. On Discord, Facebook, wherever you are, please let us know what you think, and if you want to see any changes to it going forward. But yeah, keep an eye out. We're still continuing with the experiment, and Jake's like doing a fantastic job with it so far. So really excited to see what how it kind of changes and evolves in the future. But how about we take it to the news, John?
Yeah.
My friend, we have some awesome news that we missed last week because I was under the weather, so apologies that we missed last week's recording. But John, this is some important news that happened early in the month.
Yeah. big boost for the Australian dev scene again, which is more of a follow up to something we already covered some
We'll
time
take
ago.
it. We'll take it.
But the games expansion pack initiative, which was like it was initiative targeted at smaller devs, small to medium independent game studios, to fund original games with budgets that come under $500,000.
You are now.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Never mind.
So this originally it was set for $3 million, which was announced back in March. It's now been extended to over $4 million as there was just so many applications that were apparently worthy of funding, worthy of consideration. So it's been boosted basically by the current government. So this includes, I think, 31 games in total. Actually not sure exactly, but so a number of smaller games across Australia. Includes there's a few highlighted in the press release. That includes Bits and Bops from Tempo Lab Games, from New South Wales, which is a rhythm game collection. There's Earth Lingo from WA, where I live, a language learning role-playing game. And then there's Moonlight and Garland from Victoria, an open-ended life simulation game created by solo developer Violet LeBeau. Why don't I choose that one to say? It's like, oh, that's one with the weird name. And then Future Folklore from Victoria, a building crafting game with a uniquely indigenous lens that invites players to restore the bush and care for country in a futuristic fantasy setting inspired by the Australian bush, which I know very because there can't be that many of them, but I'm always really intrigued by games that have a indigenous perspective, because they're coming more common around the world, but they're naturally less common in Australia, and it's very cool to see something like that being funded and happening. So I'm excited for that one as well. So it's good things come to the Australian dev scene.
Yeah, I think it's great to see more investment kind of trickling down and kind of making its way through. It's I don't know, it always warms my heart to see it. Just quickly, we've got Tremetes in Twitch chat sharing some dubious facts. I hope that they're true. They sound legit. Apparently, sharks are older than trees, and sharks are literally older than the rings of Saturn. Thanks, Tremetes. Yeah. So great to hear. Great to hear that we've got some learned individuals in chat. Because I don't know, I feel like you and me, we always forget things.
Yeah.
But no, I think the great thing is that it's it started. We didn't have to wait until next financial year and things like that. I'm really hoping that we get more regular types of announcements like this, because the interactive industry, the games industry in Australia has been severely underfunded for years, and it's I wish more. I think I wish there was more coming, but one step at a time, right?
Yeah, well, it's the press release does mention that applications for the expansion pack will reopen in September this year, which is kind of definitely seems like there's more coming sooner rather than later. Because I agree, it's I'm surprised it's happening so quickly. It just feels like they barely announced that. It's oh, they're getting money already. That's awesome.
Yeah. Nah, you know what? We'll take it. Tremetes says Tremetes says future folklore sounds so hectic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't think of I guess a game that's gotten attention that has an indigenous kind of elements to it. Australian indigenous elements to it. Because I know there were games games pulling from Indian mythology and Chinese mythology, African mythology, and things like that. And obviously, Western mythologies like Scandinavian and Greek. But yeah, indigenous Australian lens would be really cool. Yeah, sorry, man. I just thought I'd point that out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can't think of that. I really can't think of that for any other projects.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that could just because the Australian dev scene is so small in its own right,
Mm.
and it's like, and there's so few. There just aren't. I just imagine there aren't too many Indigenous folk in Australia that are in the game dev scene or willing to really play a part in it to really do
Yeah.
something like that. So like knowing that, I don't know. I'm not trying to say anything,
No, it's
that
it's it's just like
generalizing, but
it's a sad reality that like I guess, you know, the indigenous communities grossly underrepresented in the professional kind of industries, like, the creative industries. And then, like, if you take, if the gaming industry is like a minority of the overall kind of entertainment industry in Australia, then within that minority you've got another minority. So, like, I guess, yes, it's great to see that, like, a game with such a unique kind of like lens is getting that attention and getting that funding. I think it's a great step in the right direction, and I, I think I wish it got more attention. Not to say that the other games aren't, deserving of attention as well. I'm just saying that it could be great to see it kind of push forward a bit more, barring any accusations of, like, toxic workplaces or anything like that. But we'll talk about that later.
yeah,
Nah, but that's excellent news, man.
yeah, definitely. It's like yeah, exciting,
Mm.
but like I guess Sony's throwing money around as well.
Yeah. So what's happening is Sony's Sony's PlayStation Creators Program is kind of like the like a way that you can partner, like, independent developers and like studios and publishers. It's so the PlayStation Creators is kind of like the industry, kind of the game development kind of liaison team within Sony's PlayStation division. And the PlayStation Partners Program has been the way that the creators team has liaised with the industry's kind of like behind the scenes players, developers, individual creators, educational institutions and things like that can become partners. And as part of this, Greg Rice, who's the head of PlayStation Creators, has come forward and announced that going forward, which is a important distinction, is that newly licensed PlayStation game publishers and developers will be eligible to receive one PS5 development kit and one PS5 testing kit, compliments of Sony Interactive Entertainment. Obviously, there's some terms and conditions there, end quote. So that hopefully means that the barrier to entry for smaller teams to develop games for the PS5 would be severely reduced, especially when these studios may be very underfunded, or maybe coming from countries that don't have as much funding within the creative industries. So, like, it's good news all around.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of it does sound like because I was reminded recently how with the Xbox Series consoles you can purchase developer access already just by having the console, and I forgot that fact, and I was thinking it's like when I hear that, it's like it's really cool that it's happening, but it's also like PlayStation should be doing this a bit more often than they do if they really want to keep people on board, like the smaller creators.
Because that was, like, announced pretty like a long time ago in the Xbox One generation, and essentially the way it functions is that you can pay a certain fee to convert your retail kind of Xbox console into a light version of a development kit. Now, what that means is that you can't access it. It doesn't give you the full capabilities of a full-on Xbox development kit, but that kind of makes sense because those can be in thousands of dollars and they're very specialized pieces of hardware. But it does give you a lot of the features, and probably more than enough maybe to get things off the ground. But, like, this is like kind of, instead of Sony doing that, like making all retail PS5s capable of doing like a light version of testing, Sony's kind of getting around it by making like just making these full-on units, these special units, freely available. My only
Yeah.
worry is that with the ongoing hardware like the chip shortage, like when are people going to get these units? You know?
We'll send it in 2025. But I am ashamed to say that I don't know what a testing kit is, as opposed to a development kit.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't realize that there was a difference, but I'm
Hmm.
guessing, like I'm guessing that a dev kit is to like actually give you access to hardware to do all the coding stuff, like all the, we're not developers, so I'm gonna all the magic.
Yeah.
And then the testing kit is to run a game on hardware, so you can actually do things like measure performance and things like that. You can't, maybe like a dev kit doesn't specialize in that, because I always assumed it was the same thing. I never knew there was a different kit, but who knows? Maybe that's a thing for the PS5s, especially because I've never heard of it, and I've been following the games industry for almost 2 decades.
Is it somehow related to QA?
It could be that, actually. Yeah, you're right. It could be that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
we'll
I don't know.
yeah, maybe. Okay, I can see one of the things being like maybe the testing kit is where you can actually like. You can not only get all the numbers like frame rate, things like that, but you can also do like take screenshots and take video. Like if you're like creating assets and stuff, whereas the development kit is much more focused on like the programming side of things. That's my layman's kind of educated guess on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look it up later, I think. I'm very curious suddenly.
Yeah, but I alluded to it before, and unfortunately, it seems like we've had a few more developments from the negative side of the games industry. So, what's happened is that CNBC spotted something earlier this year that I guess has been updated recently. Oh, whoops. Is that apparently Microsoft had actually been in talks with Activision Blizzard not long after that Wall Street Journal article went live last year. So on November 16, like US time, the Wall Street Journal published a report covering all of the I guess the allegations of and kind of recording reports of a toxic workplace culture and sexual harassment, mismanagement and things like that at Activision Blizzard. And that's kind of what's been kicked off a whole bunch of scrutiny over the past 6 to 7 months. And apparently on November 19, so 3 days after that article went live, that's actually when Phil Spencer, who's the CEO of Microsoft's gaming division, which includes Xbox and Bethesda and everything like that, had actually brought it up in a call with Bobby Kotick, who's the CEO of Activision Blizzard. And apparently, according to the SEC filing for the merger, the acquisition, the official SEC filing for the acquisition, it actually kind of laid down the timeline that on November 19 is when this topic was breached, and then the next day, Satya Nadella, who's the CEO of Microsoft as a whole, got involved as well, and kind of moved from there. So I think we've had this narrative. I think people have developed this narrative of Microsoft being the good person, and that Microsoft's going to come in afterwards and like clean up Activision, and may not have known about it at the time of the there was a bit of a gap. Maybe Microsoft was in talks before the allegations happened, but I guess this is like kind of evidence showing that no, Microsoft knew what was happening, and still decided to move forward with these talks. I'll just before I flick to you, John, just wanted to point out a couple of things that I thought might be like kind of important. Is that this is later on in the report saying that Bobby Kotick might actually get some rewards and still be able to get some bonuses, even if even despite all the allegations. But so Activision Blizzard's Workplace Responsibility Committee within the board of directors, if it quote concludes and reports publicly, important distinction there. One, it's run by the board of directors, and it's a committee, which are notorious for not getting things done. But these are the board of directors who are all mates with Bobby Kotick. So if they publicly report that Activision has made quote appropriate progress towards achieving its I guess to the goals it set out in its October press release in 28, where it talked about zero tolerance of harassment and things like that, that no earlier than 6 months after the date of the agreement of the merger, that Bobby Kotick would get an annual equity award. So like kind of value. So getting like a certain amount of like shares and or equivalent to that in the company, which could be let's see, and it could be equal to, but not more than $22 million. Or he could get cash compensation, as stipulated in his existing terms of employment, provided that his annual salary doesn't go above $875,000. His base salary, not including bonuses,
Nice.
and that his annual cash bonus doesn't go above 200% of his base salary. So essentially, he could get either, if everything goes well and there's no breaches, if they find there's no breaches or anything like that, he could still get a big cash like payout, and or like some stock or some equity in the company. So he'd still get that golden parachute, but without ever leaving the company.
Right. Yeah.
This pisses me off to no end. I know it's complicated, but essentially, if his mates find that he's done nothing wrong, he's going to get paid even more.
Yeah. I'm kind of sick of hearing about Kotick getting paid more. I feel like a lot of these news stories are Kotick's still getting paid, still getting that cash.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot in here. I tried my best to try and kind of break this down, but essentially the thing to know about it is that Microsoft, just days after that report, was talking to Activision Blizzard. So it's not like they knew about everything, and it was still fresh in the press. It's not like there was like 6 months, 12 months, people kind of forgot about it, things changed. No, this is like right in the thick of it. And the second part is that Bobby Kotick could still get a big payday if his mates decide that he's done nothing wrong. Convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. But John, some more news coming out of Activision Blizzard.
Yes. So this follows the Roe versus Wade overturning that we reported on. Well, everyone reported on several weeks ago.
Yeah, not just us.
Yeah, so a week ago, there was a walkout staged by Activision Blizzard employees at the studios in California, Texas, Minnesota, and New York. So this is around 450 employees, according to the Washington Post, as when they wrote an article covering this a week ago. So this walkout was to demand protections for the staff members impacted by the loss of abortion rights in the United States, organized by a Better ABK. This is the kind of not quite a union organization for Activision Blizzard King. So they issued a statement of demands directed at Activision Blizzard as part of this walkout. So this included relocation assistance for those working out of states this ruling was affected by, cost of living adjustments for these relocations, and guaranteed abortion access in employees' healthcare plans. Some of the demands relate to labor rights more broadly, like kind of the stuff they've been working towards ever since they came together as a group. So such as the right to choose remote work, including employees in sexual harassment audits, and for the company to sign a labor neutrality agreement like Microsoft has. So for Activision Blizzard, like these demands are like very important because there are companies, like there are like several studios, or at least a few that are based in Texas. Texas is a trigger state, so a trigger law state. So this being trigger law is a law that is as defined by Wikipedia, as I looked up, a law that is unenforceable but may achieve enforceability if a key change in circumstances occurs. This basically means that several states, including
So
Texas,
domino
already
effect.
they already had laws in place to ban abortion outright, more or less, but only if the overturning happened. So as soon as the overturning happens, it just kind of locks into place, or like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is triggering.
Mm.
So so employees, other tech and gaming companies have like in Texas have already demanded support, like a similar support.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Kotaku was able to get a couple of quotes or statements from Activision Blizzard in regards to this. So, first one didn't really address the list of demands. It was just kind of
Yeah.
a broad, we support this and this. Second statement mentions that since early June, employees have had access to, quote, expanded medical travel benefits that includes medical care covered by our plans that is not available in a covered person's state or within 100 miles of where they live. So I'm kind of curious about how that lands, because this lockout is happening after this came into effect. So I'm
Mm.
kind of wondering, I'm guessing these medical benefits don't, like, maybe they don't really extend far enough for what is required,
Yeah.
especially in Texas. I'm not sure. I guess I shouldn't just speculate
I think
wildly,
it's I
but
think it's because like there's just been a lack of anything coming from Activision. I think
mm,
that's yeah. I think because like we reported on a couple of episodes ago, companies like Bungie and like a lot of Sony studios and stuff, and even independent studios have come out and said, "Hey, we will pay for you to go to another state to get the procedure done, and then we'll cover because like unlike in Australia, a lot of things are covered by Medicare. We have universal healthcare here, and not like America's not really set up like that. So, and I guess people, want it to feel like their company would be there to back them and support their rights as women, as people who are able to get pregnant to be able to get that safe, to be able to travel safely and be able to afford that. Because let's be honest, the only thing Roe vs. Wade has done is made abortions unsafe. Like, just means access to safe abortions is gone for those people in those areas. Because they're still going to happen, but they're just not going to happen safely. So that's I don't know. And you know what's scary is like how websites and everything can kind of track what we're looking up and what we're doing and suggest ads and things like that. Imagine like you get outed as needing an abortion by an ad that a coworker sees on your Facebook feed or something. You know what I mean? And then
mm,
anonymously reports you to the sheriff or whatever. Like that's scary shit, right?
yeah, it's
Um,
like it's
yeah,
immediately progressing so much further than I think people feared.
yeah,
Like stuff like that, like being able to, like extending to being like invading people's privacy
mm,
to stamp out abortion access as much
yeah.
as they possibly can.
And the irony is a lot of these people talking about my body, my choice, and how that doesn't apply to abortions. Somehow, te- uh, seem feel like it applies when it comes to getting the COVID vaccine. Like,
Yeah, it's a
so
lot of
yeah,
contradictions in those brains apparently.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, this is like it's not something that we want to report on, but it's something that it's important, especially as you know more and more companies are like more and more teams are unionizing, and there's been a bigger call to kind of have kind of rights set in stone across organizations around the world, and this is like another step in that like another page in that story, that like kind of continuing story. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of the stuff that I'm not sure we've ever. I'm not sure I can really fully imagine it, but it's like it's kind of easy to see it having kind of cascading effects on the industry as people just developers, experienced developers especially, are just not willing to work for certain studios that exist in certain states.
Yeah.
And then kind of like naturally things can shift because of these laws just in the game development scene, in like irrespective of health rights and such. Like it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, obviously that matters the most, but it's like this can have like further effects that we're not really fully aware of yet as well.
Sure.
So it's like it's worth it's worth discussing in that sense as well, like worth
Yeah.
reporting on too. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and I'm just yeah, I'm just saddened by the fact that I don't know. This is just yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get angry. Let's just yeah.
Let's move on to the next.
Let's move on.
thing.
We I think we wholeheartedly stand with the ABK kind of participants and what they're doing. So yeah, good on them for staging the walkout. That's unfortunately like drastic actions and is what causes change. History's told us that time and time again. That's being silent and not doing anything, not disrupting anything, doesn't really get anything done. And that's, if anyone tells you otherwise, they haven't learnt anything from history. So yeah, be loud and be proud. Get that going. Get those movements going. But yeah, let's close off this kind of negative block of news before we can talk about the fun stuff. And this is something that's a bit more near and dear to me, as someone who's been a Destiny fan for a long time, a begrudging Destiny fan sometimes. Is that I guess we reported on kind of like some of the harassment level that game developers a couple of weeks ago at Sony Santa Monica and the like, and we've had some news come out of Bungie, who's the developers of creators of Halo, Marathon, and most recently Destiny. And I guess what's happened is that recently, the Sandbox lead, Kevin Yanes, talked about the fact that Twilight Garrison, which was an exotic item from the original Destiny game, wasn't going to come back with one of its key features, which was the ability to give Titans, or like the tank characters, an air dash. This unfortunately led to a lot of players complaining and even harassing and kind of like not just behaving toxically, but also like threatening and all the shit behavior that you don't want to see online. And according to Paul Tassi and a few other people who've spotted this online. So Paul Tassi from Forbes, Kevin Yanes like kind of quit Twitter, except for like tweeting like about political issues and stuff here and there, but like essentially no talk about Destiny and anything else. And what highlighted this again was the fact that when a Destiny 2 player tweeted about, hey, why don't we do a quote weekly PvP chat quote with Bungie? Dylan Gaffner, who's one of the community managers at Bungie, goes by DMG04, essentially tweeted what you see on the screen is the fact that, quote, I dream of a day where video game developers from any studio can openly discuss their work without being harassed. Many in the comments say they do not condone harassment. I hope they also stand against it when they find that friends or family are engaging in it. Cases of harassment against our developers have actively made it harder for us to communicate with the broader community. It has impacted more studios than just ours. I hope that more folks can stand against this behavior in any community, whether it be gaming related or other. End quote. And I think it highlights the fact that, listen, yeah, you can be against harassment and stuff, but are you going to be willing to call out your mates or call out, your cousins or whatever when they're doing shit like this online? And it's why we can't have nice things. I love the PvP in Destiny. I think it's like, I know, John, you're not a Destiny player, but I know that, through osmosis, you've kind of realized, like, the feedback is always, Destiny always plays great, but there's just so much to it that it's hard to get into it, right? But the core gameplay and everything is always like no one ever criticizes that. And like same thing, I love the PvP in Destiny. I mean, I wish it had more maps and I wish it had more things happening versus the PvE side of things. But you know, I want like this type of dialogue is what we need to make things better. But you know, why am I gonna stand in the crowd and talk to my fans if every second fan is gonna punch me or spit on me or kick me, right? Like, why would I do that? I'd never leave the car. I'd just drive past the crowds. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you understand my very very like crappy metaphor.
How was that? That's pretty good. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I totally get what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like, you've seen your fair share online of what people have been doing about to other studios, and it's like, fuck, like, come on, we must be better than this. And it's not just games. It's like you saw what happened with like Moses Ingram with the Obi-Wan show. You know, a black. Oh my god, this is a black Imperial officer. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like oh, we're like all these. It's like blackness shouldn't exist in Star Wars, apparently.
Yeah, like how blackness didn't exist in a galaxy far, far away. How could that be possible?
Yeah.
How could this universe, which is entirely made up from someone's brain, constitute of some sort of idea that doesn't come from my brain, that doesn't align with my own brain? What the hell?
Yeah, it's like we mentioned, like we discussed, I think on the same show. It's like the Return to Monkey Island creator being driven from his own website, like his own blog that he
Yeah.
held for a long time, and
What
it's
the
like
fuck?
from the same sort of stuff. And it's like, are there any nice fans in gaming? Like I know there are. Like I mean, fandoms is what I meant.
Yeah,
Not fan.
yeah, fan.
But it's
yeah.
like how are they all these like tight knit, or not even tight knit so much as just collected groups of intensely dedicated fans always get more too intense to the point of harassment. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't be surprising. I guess it isn't. I don't know. It's horrible seeing this kind of news over and over again, though. It does feel
100%.
like it's been ramping up. Like maybe like COVID sort of upgraded it a bit too. But it's obviously that it shouldn't be an excuse. I was just
Yeah.
thinking it's like I guess when people have all the time in the world and are just inside in the dark, maybe that's what happens as well.
Yeah.
But it's all horrible.
Yeah. I said that this would be the last of the horrible news, but just quickly,
Yeah.
do you want to
Yeah,
tell
I
us
won't go
about
over it too much.
Unity?
Yeah. The CEO of Unity, what's his name?
John
Riccitiello. Riccitiello. Yeah, so he had an interview with Pocket Gamer, a mobile game site. What do you call it? Like a site reporting on mobile games.
Yeah.
They had an interview with Riccitiello, and he had a quote that went viral very quickly, where he said,
As it
more or
should
less,
have.
the most beautiful and pure, brilliant people are also some of the biggest fucking idiots. Yeah, so he's basically talking about monetization, how developers don't think about it off early enough or often enough in his mind. Like he's basically talking about, I think the idea is that he's breaking down he as a business person always thinks about the money and how a game can make money more or less, and artists don't consider it strongly enough, especially when it comes to making a living. But it's also extremely dismissive of the idea that they're artists who have their own goals and visions for the things they're creating beyond just money. It's a really dumb statement. So after that went viral, he made a very quick, very dismissive, like apology in quotes on Twitter. Not long after, he didn't really say anything other than, oh yeah, I think I said like, basically like fake news out of context, and that's kind of the entire statement. After that, he made an actual statement that says has like of the text in an image on Twitter.
Which,
the common apology
anytime you see that, it's just like it's like the modern equivalent of a like a sports stars press. You know how they used to do press conferences to apologize? This is like the equivalent of that. Like some token gesture. I mean, that's how I see it, but yeah, maybe I'm just too jaded. Please.
No, it's become very much the thing. Like it's become a format for apology and shame. um, so so the quote goes like, it's a bit long, but just to cherry pick a few things. Quote, "My word choice was crude, and I'm sorry. I'm listening, and I will do better." He adds that he wanted to say that he had things he wanted to say, but he quote clearly failed at saying it. There are better ways for game developers to get early read on what players think of their game, and either adjust or not adjust based on this feedback, and that both are very valid choices.
Yeah.
As I understand it, that interview very much goes over monetization in general and like recognizing like gameplay loops and how to monetize those.
Yeah.
And like a lot of it's kind of bad in its own right. It's just like that, it's like it kind of goes against a lot of what people who play games feel strongly about, like against like the idea of games as art, basically. So there's a lot of bad shit that he said in that interview, really. But that quote just really took on its. It was like a very succinct summary of the kind of stuff he was saying.
It was
just with more disrespect piled on top of it. But it's so that happened in Unity.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to talk about too much more.
And one thing I want to point out is that unlike other like kind of images as apologies that other companies and people do, this one is literally just a screenshot of him like in his like notes app. He's got like literally the cursor highlighting one sentence. And that's the only sentence where he's capitalized the word I, like where he's actually given effort. Everything else is like kind of like lowercase i's and like it's just like the complete lack of effort. I've got it on the screen for folks who are watching the video, but for folks at home, like just imagine like your first draft of a statement. This is what's on there.
Yeah, that's it's like I mean, I don't know. I guess get what he's going for, but he's still the CEO of a very big company.
Yeah.
Making an apology.
I know, but come on, like you have a PR team, talk to them. Like they should
exactly.
You know, like what the fuck are you hiring? Like you fired 4% of your workforce, if not more. Like it sounds like most of them were in copywriting as well, or like I don't know, man. Like I'm just frustrated. Like, anyway,
I fired the PR team. I'd do this myself.
I'll do it myself. And I've got some words to say. And the way he ends it is, this is his quote. Anyway, that's it. Lots of words and a sentence that I wish I had never said.
I didn't mind that part.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. He's trying to end it with a bit more humility. Yeah.
He should have said, let's say, anyway, that's it. That sounds like, anyway, that's it. Yeah, I've done my shit. Can you fuck off now? Like, I think it should have been like, all in all, I will do better, and I promise to do better. You know what I mean?
The idea is that it was meant to counter the idea that people can see through those big blocks of words that make up a long apology.
Yeah, but
I think that's the idea. I agree with you. Like, it's hard to see it. Considering where it started off from, it's kind of hard to see past, like, to give him the benefit of the doubt with a certain tone of his language,
Yeah, I'm reading too much into it, but I don't know, man. It's just, Anyway, I'm just, I'm going to get angry again. I'm just, let's take like a 30-second kind of like stretch break while we before we move on to the next batch of stories. Now, this next slate of news stories, all about kind of like some major rumors and major, I guess, news from some games. The first one is that Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who's kind of like notorious for revealing a lot of kind of, I don't know,
I like that word, notorious.
Notorious, yeah. He leaks a lot of stuff, and he's got a lot of good connections. And his latest report is talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, the main article's behind the paywall, so definitely head over and subscribe, read whatever you need to do to support them. But the gist of it is that this new game is not due until March 2024, so the end of like the next financial year 2023, 2024 financial year for Rockstar. So that's probably going to be like the expected time frame. Potentially could be further out than that. And that the game, just confirming that it will be set in Vice City, which is the series' I guess, like its recreation of Florida in the real world, like, and that the game will star a female Latinx protagonist, which I think is the first time in the series there's been a female protagonist. Because I mean, besides GTA Online, and yeah, and in terms of like we had, like if we go through this, we had Claude, I think it was in GTA 3, who was like unnamed until like San Andreas. And he was like, I think, Anglo-Saxon background. We had CJ, who was like African American background. Tommy Vercetti was like American Italian. I think we had like Liberty Series stories, like more African American protagonists and stuff. We had Niko Bellic was he from Serbia? He was from a Balkan country.
Serbia or Bulgaria or something.
Yeah.
Not
Perhaps
sure.
here things will be different. Yeah, that accent doesn't really narrow it down. And then we had like kind of like a trio of like different protagonists in GTA 5, but I think this will be the first time. Like, it'll be really cool. I mean, I don't know how they're going to go from 3 to 1 protagonist again, but it'll be interesting to see.
As I understand it, part of the report mentioned that it's going to be kind of a Bonnie and Clyde thing. So I think
one of the
it
protagonists
probably will be 2 of them.
Yeah.
Going off that, yeah. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it will just be 1, but yeah.
And yeah, apparently the original plan for the game was that it's the landmass that's the map of the game would include both parts of North and South America, but apparently Rockstar has kind of like reined in a lot of these ambitions, potentially to avoid crunch and other things that Rockstar's made some, I guess, like announced plans to kind of scale back a lot of the excess work and things that its studios go under. And apparently, as part of the sources claim that it plans to add more of these like kind of cities and locations as post-launch content. Post-launch content.
Yeah.
Whew. But yeah, which could be interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Like, it's like a money-making machine, GTA. So, like, if you could add extra single-player content that also works as GTA Online maps, like, it makes sense, right? Like, you've already got the assets there. Why not get the money out of it? What do you think?
I'm kind of disappointed by the idea that I mean, this is just, very early report seeming like, or not early, but, scant, I guess. Like, there's not much to it.
Yeah.
But it's like the idea that the gimmick of this one was going to be scale is very underwhelming to me. Because it just reminds me of The Crew or something. Or it's just like, I don't want to be reminded of The Crew. Like, that's not interesting to me. Like, it's not like, I don't want, like, I feel like when I think of like a GTA, like a Rockstar game, I understand that games have been getting bigger and bigger. Like Rockstar, like Red Dead 2 was gigantic because it included the land masses of both the first game and exact amount in the second one. So I understand it, but it's also like, because I had this idea I had like a few weeks ago that I really locked onto all of a sudden as soon as I had it. And I'm very disappointed it's not it, which is I had in my mind, I was like thinking, oh, it's going to be Vice City, which apparently it is. And in my mind, I was thinking, I'm not sure what it was based on. It was based on some article quote talking about very vaguely that the next GTA 6 is going to be ambitious in some certain way. I don't know. And I was thinking about how like the last one was character switching, like instant character switching across the world. I was thinking next one could even be like time period switching, which I think would be really
cool.
fun. Like something that takes advantage of the SSD and like of like modern technology, and it's like, man, that's something that could work really well. It's like you go from like 80s Vice City to like modern day, and like the story is like switching between it, and you like fill in the gaps between these two sides.
Oh my god, that would be so cool. That is awesome,
that would be a way to like pump in a bunch of like different eras into GTA Online
and use kind of this,
I don't know. Like that
Wow.
was my idea. It's like, man, I'm pretty
You need to
bummed it's
copyright
not
that, man, or something.
that. Yeah.
Like, could you
Fucking
imagine? Like, it's like one of the, those movies where it's like movies or shows where there are like two different time periods, and then like the same mystery's been solved, or there's like a, like a family kind of like secret, and then you get to
yeah,
see the
exactly.
events as they like a show like True Detective did that, and like a show like Haunting of Hill House did that, and it can, if it when it works, it's really cool, and I can't
Yeah.
really, like, a game doing that would be awesome, and like
Well, it's like actually,
yeah.
I didn't think of it until now, but it's like Red Dead, the two Red Dead games
Yeah.
sort of did something similar, where it's like it kind of pivots around, um, like a job gone wrong on like a ferry, or I forget
Yeah,
exactly how it's described, but it's mentioned a lot during this first game, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
set in
and
the
you
future.
go to that ferry.
Yeah, and then I'm not actually I actually don't remember how the second one ends in regards to that. I don't remember
Yeah,
if I'm pretty sure it shows up. It has to.
yeah, because that
I
was,
don't
if I
quite
remember
remember the game very
correctly,
well.
in Red Dead Redemption, like you go kind of like the ruins of that, and they talk about that job gone wrong.
Yeah.
But I haven't
So
played enough of Red Dead 2 to get to that part where they bring it up, so
yeah,
I
it's
couldn't
like,
help
but
you
it's like
there.
imagine that. It's like switching between like John Marston in the future, hunting for his crew, and
Yeah,
then in
yeah,
the past where he's like living with them and
gotcha.
growing up with them and stuff. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying that, I don't know. It's just like that's kind of I had that thought in my head, and it's like, oh, that seems like
That's pretty
appropriately
cool, man.
ambitious for a GTA 6 game.
Yeah.
And then
Huh.
it's like seeing that, it's like, oh, I don't want size. We already have that with other games. Like I'm sure it'll be good. I'm sure it'll have other stuff
Yeah.
I'm not, we're not aware of yet. But it's just like, if that's the idea, that's disappointing. But we'll see.
Gotcha. Well, another report that came out over the past week was news about an unannounced Black Panther game being in the works at EA. So, according to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, who is the one the one who broke this story, is that the new game will be an open world game, and it'll be single player focused, and it'll kind of function as an origin story for a new Black Panther. So, in according to the sources that Jeff, Mr. Grubb, if you will, references, the original Black Panther in the universe has passed away, and you're basically taking over the mantle of Black Panther, and it's like kind of the challenges and the trials and tribulations that you go through to be recognized as such an iconic leader. And the other thing is that this game's very early on in development, so there's no word of a release window or anything like that. And the game is apparently codenamed Project Rainier, and is being developed by a studio in Seattle, which was founded by the former VP and studio head at Monolith Productions, Kevin Stevens. Monolith, under Stevens' leadership, developed the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Middle-earth Shadow of War games from a few years ago. So there's quite a bit of pedigree there. If this is to be believed, if the report's correct, could you imagine something like the Nemesis system, where there's like, a hierarchy of villains that can come back, and like all these interconnected kind of rivalries and stuff, but set within kind of the Marvel universe, like all of like T'Challa, King T'Challa, or Black Panther's kind of enemies, like seeing the hierarchy of the different tribes and the different enemies and groups. That'd kind of be cool, I think.
Yeah, like it seems like a decent fit for it, because I guess it would be set in Wakanda. So I was just thinking as you were
Yeah.
talking, where it's like, oh, an open world. Like, I mean, I guess it has to be Wakanda. I was just trying to think as like, what can they do for an open world with that setting? And but
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I'm sure it wouldn't be crazy anyway. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, like the Nemesis system. Be nice to see it again for the first of all.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Hasn't
so
really popped up
like
in a while.
because they like patented it. No one else can really do it. I think
Okay.
it's probably hard to pull off anywhere.
Yeah.
But that's my understanding of the situation. So you can't see it unless EA wants it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be cool. It's a cool environment. to see that kind of system again there.
Because like
That happens.
in the comics, like there's like even crossover with the Avengers and with wasn't he married to Storm? Like
Yeah.
in the comics and stuff like that. There's cool like kind of overlap there. There could be cool crossover opportunities there, like and things like that. Like lots of different storylines. So that would be really cool. And yeah, really excited for that. But you know, I think a lot of people are going to be excited for this next rumor, and that is not rumor. I guess it's confirmed. It's the return of Skate officially.
Yes. Yeah, because I think it was like announced already,
Yeah.
like a little while ago, but it's been kind of re-announced, I suppose, as a live service free-to-play title. And now instead of being called,
Yay!
I don't know, like a skate game is not the worst fit for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, not called Skate 4 anymore. I'm not sure if it was announced as that, but maybe it was presumed. Anyway, it's called Skate in lowercase, period, at the end.
Of course it is. That's how.
Developed by Full Circle, which is a development studio seemingly made to make this game. I don't think they existed already. Yeah, so it'll be a live service, free-to-play title with cross-play and cross-progression support. With the announcement, the developer sort of highlighted 4 rules they have for this game. So this means 1, no pay to win. 2, no maps locked behind paywalls. 3, no paid loot boxes, which I don't think anyone does anymore anyway. And 4, no paid gameplay advantages. So it's not a bad place to start, I think.
Yeah.
It's yeah, so I think that's kind of all we know. Currently there's no release date. It probably won't be releasing for some time. Going off their own footage, which is labeled pre-alpha, and as well as like there's been details of like the playtest from the other week where it's like, I think it's like best described as in active development, because there's lots of bugs, lots of missing features, lots of unfinished stuff in general, just very, very unfinished. So it seems very, and like the idea was to be like a closed test as well. Like the idea that there was stuff, like there was NDAs involved.
Yeah,
so
but
it's like
things always get out.
I know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like it's very much not meant to be something discussed.
Yeah,
it's meant to be something just kind of given a taste of and given feedback. So it's yeah, far off. I don't mind the idea. Like it makes a lot of sense for a skating game to be a live service game.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it's like, just so many options for cosmetics, so few options for like really exploiting whales because of the kind of game it is. I don't think so. Maybe there is, I guess. But it's like, yeah, there always is with cosmetics. But I feel like beyond that, it seems like a hard game to really milk, like mean way, I guess, as a title. Because like Diablo Immortal just came out, and that's like the most exploitive shit possible. And it's like all like, and it's all an end game. Everything else is apparently okay, but everything else is just very, really wants you to spend money in a variety of ways.
100%.
So it's like, I don't know. Skate it's exciting to me. Like I've been wanting to play Skate series for ages.
Yeah.
Because I just never did when it was popular, and it's kind of hard to get a hold of now when I don't have an Xbox or a PC.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. I hope it turns out well.
Yeah.
People seem to be excited based. Like for people who played it, played the tests, people seem pretty positive on it.
And that's what you want. You don't want something to be shit. Like, let's be honest. We want it to be good. Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's a very like the skate games. I remember, like, people love them. Like, they were apparently really good. I remember, like, playing like I think Skate 1 at like a demo kiosk at Singapore Airport, like 12 years ago, whatever it was, and I was like, I couldn't even ollie. It was like, because it was, for people who may not be familiar with the Skate series, it was that if the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games were the arcade equivalent, like say they're like an arcade racing game, like a Need for Speed, then Skate was like the Forza or like the iRacing, like the simulation style.
I was about to say Forza, actually, because Forza's in that middle ground between sim, like it's lean sim, but it's it's like
it's like Simcade.
All the
and
other
then iRacing's like full onto the side, and like Skate was kind of the closest thing to that iRacing, because like you had to, like you had to worry about, you had kind of like independent control over like your stance, your feet, the weight shifting and things like that, like things that you think about when you're skating in real life. As someone who struggled to do an ollie, I can tell you that it isn't easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like kind of like I think people really like people kind of loved it and like ran with it because there was like there's all these crazy videos and stuff and they always had the thing where you could like there was challenges to break as many bones as possible and stuff. Like there was some ridiculous things in those games, but they're very it's a beloved series and it's great to see it come back.
Mm. Yeah, it's yeah. Like I feel like it seems so rare for EA to do something that people want.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see. Like
It's
like
so
people have been
harsh.
wanting this for a while,
Yeah.
like such a long time since Skate 3.
Yeah.
It keeps being kind of rumored over the years.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of it's great that it's actually happening in a way that seems happy for most people.
Yep.
I'm sure people like there's plenty of people who aren't happy with the
Of course.
live service aspect, but that's natural. But it's
That's going to happen with anything. But yeah, next story is also about a beloved series coming back, like seemingly out of nowhere. Bayonetta 3. Tell us, mate, what's going on?
Yeah, so not sure when the trailer came out, like last week or the week before.
I think it's a couple of weeks now. Yep.
Okay. So Bayonetta 3 has been re-revealed again since early this year or something, since the last time it was re-revealed. But now it has a release date of October 28th this year. So it's coming pretty soon, really, like not far away.
Yeah.
So this one, it seems to reveal a few more details about the game than the last trailer did. I was very wrong about certain things on that one article I wrote a while ago based on the last trailer. So it's not based on Limbo, which I kind of speculated. Like, Limbo being like the middle between hell and heaven. It's based about, quote, man-made bioweapons called homunculi. So it's probably some, sci-fi stuff getting in the mix of all this angel demon stuff. It also seems to have multiverse stuff going based on the trailer. So which seems like a natural extension of all the time looping of the last two games. So it seems is just as hard to follow in certain ways as the last two. So otherwise the trailer reveals that it will be based, or at least be partly based in both Tokyo and the mountains of China. And we'll also have a new playable character called Viola, who also has a demon champion called companion, not champion, Cheshire. So it's like just a giant demon that seems to help you out when you're playing. She kind of reminds me a bit of like I think she's probably based on like Bayonetta's katana moveset, like she has that weapon in both games, plus Virgil maybe from Devil May Cry series. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a natural assumption, but like it's otherwise there's not too many new details from the games for the game as far as I can tell, other than there's a release date finally and it's coming out. I also thought, like, have you seen the trailer, Abir?
Yeah, I'm like I saw it briefly, but I'm watching it now and it's on screen for people watching the video feed, and it's like Cheshire is just what you think, a giant demon Cheshire cat.
Yeah. I do think it looks I feel like it's really showing the Switch's lack of power as a exclusive title there.
I was going to say, this is definitely this is PS3 graphics at best.
I don't know about that, but it is kind of this. Yeah, it's like it doesn't look really. It could look better. Which is I don't know. It'll look. I'm sure it'll look better. Like actually playing it. Like I don't think I'll be too bothered by it. Maybe, and it's also YouTube compression that doesn't help.
That's true.
Something that's been mentioned, that's been revealed since the game was revealed, is also there's a new family-friendly mode called Naive Angel mode. This basically limits like the nudity in the game, and nudity is like in quotes a bit. It's not like like it's not R-rated exposure. It's like just a skin, because Bayonetta is a witch who uses her hair
as her suit
cast
and
spells. And so it comes off when she does things, but it's more like lewd, I guess. So this mode limits that entirely. On Twitter, Platinum Games kind of described this kind of succinctly, saying, quote, by turning it on, you can play right in the living room without having to worry about what's on the screen.
That's what I was thinking.
Accurate.
Like it's family friendly and maybe girlfriend or wife friendly. if you're
Yeah.
a dude, or maybe partner friendly if you're if you're got a significant other and they're like, if the entire idea of video games is like this is what 12-year-old boys do because they're horny and don't know what else how to socialize. Like, I don't think this would have helped. That
Yeah. Yeah. So the series creator Hideki Kamiya, he noted on Twitter that apparently this wasn't something pushed by Nintendo at all. If anything, they've kind of pushed the opposite direction at times. So they mentioned like in Bayonetta 2 and the port for Bayonetta 1, there's like a costume for Link from Legend of Zelda that you can get for Bayonetta. Apparently, they were kind of surprised or pushing for more like a more revealing version of that outfit that that you can get in that game.
yeah
So it's not something that's Nintendo driven so much as it probably just makes a lot of sense, honestly,
yeah
for a game like this to have that feature. So it's
exactly.
yeah.
Hmm.
But but not the last new game to talk about.
Yeah, we've got a couple of quick ones to round off the news for this week, and the next one is that a developer called Servios, which is a VR, a virtual reality game developer, has acquired the license to make a first person, like, or not first person, but like a horror themed story for based on the Aliens franchise. So I guess, like, Aliens, Colonial Marines aside, was it Alien Isolation? The kind of first person kind of thriller horror game from the Creative Assembly. Like, that was like a very popular game, like from like 2014 or so, and I guess this is more probably akin to that. So it is going to be a single player action horror game, and it's set within the Aliens like lore, and it's actually set between the original Alien film and Aliens, the sequel. So I mean, potentially the only two good Aliens films. Let's be honest. I don't know. I haven't seen Alien 4, so I can't. What is it?
That
Resurrection?
one might be great. That one
Whatever
might
it was.
join the pantheon.
Yeah, so that's next on the list of, like, I don't know, Alien 3 was just shit anyway. So it's going to be an Unreal Engine 5 game, and it's being developed for PC consoles, so expected on PS5, Xbox Series 1 and PS4, and VR and virtual reality. It'll be interesting to see how it, like, developing a game for virtual reality and developing a game for standard play is very different. So I wonder how the studio is going to handle doing like concurrent development. I think that's going to be like a worrying part for me personally in terms of that development. But we'll see. Let's hope for the best.
I'd bet it's like kind of following Resident Evil's lead in that. Like, that seems like
Okay.
a natural thing to follow.
Yeah,
Plus, I guess they had a good pitch if they've been able to announce it.
yeah,
So, like, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's like exciting to see another one.
yeah,
A lot of people have good reason to be excited, though I don't think they have much of a track record. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll just go on the games page. I think they have made a few different things, but
Okay.
obviously I'm. Oh yeah. The Walking Dead Onslaught, the Creed. Oh yeah. I've seen some of these games before. But yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, this last piece of news is like a little bit more fun. According to I think it was the Japan Expo in Tokyo over the past couple of weeks. Some of the people who attended got to play Street Fighter 6, and one of the things that they showed some footage of was the fact that now when you win a round with a perfect like kind of execution, so perfects happen when you defeat your opponent and they don't even get one hit on you. You've got full health and you just destroy them. typically in games you just get like kind of like a perfect or like flawless victory or something like that as like a thing that pops up on screen. But in Street Fighter 6, there's actually going to be a specific kind of animation, like kind of letting you gloat. In the case, what they showed was Luke, who's kind of the main character in Street Fighter 6, like kind of doing like a little jig and a dance, like sort of like a Fortnite emote at the end of the round, like an extra fu to whoever you beat. So that's like kind of like a neat little like kind of quirk that they're adding into the game, which will be frustrating if you're on the other side, but probably a little bit of like fun if you're on the winning side of things.
Yeah, it's like thinking about it. It's like I'm kind of surprised Mortal Kombat didn't do it first.
Yeah.
It feels like the goofy dance that Luke does. It's like I was just thinking back on it, and it's like, oh yeah, that feels so familiar. It's like, oh, that's right.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for the news for this past week. How about we move over to the general chit chat section and talk about some of the fun stuff we've been getting up to.
Right.
John, you've gotten the chance to play some more games over this past fortnight.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima was among them.
Yeah, played that for I don't know, a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
I played through the first act of 3, I assume. I don't know, but it's very nice. Like it's very much a Assassin's Creed Ubisoft style open world thing, made very slickly with a lot of little quality of life upgrades that keep it going really smoothly. But it doesn't really escape all the problems those kind of things have, those kind of games have. Because it's not really meant to be funny. It's just like it's just the kind of nature of these games are like innately repetitive. And there's only so much you can do in them. So it's like Ghost of Tsushima is like you're mostly doing, cutting down guys like a samurai or sneaking around doing stabbing against people who don't know you're there. That's kind of most, you're not doing much else other than that. Like you're just kind of traveling by horseback around, collecting things, and then you're killing folk or talking to people and seeing story happen. And it's just like, it's all very high quality. I have no, like, I can't really knock any of it, but it did like, I was actually really enjoying the story because the whole arc of it is a samurai who is being pushed to,
question his ethics and morals and stuff. I remember that.
And it's like that, and that story is told really well, I think. Like that, like it's better than most games, I think, when they like it's a simple, it's like not a particularly ambitious story, but I think they've done it really well and they've been able to tell it very effectively. Like it moves quickly enough that you don't like kind of lose interest, and like you're constantly getting the right emotional beats and the right thematic ones.
Yeah,
and it's like it's done really well, and I was really invested in the story. But by the time I got into Act 1, I was like, man, I'm not willing. I don't like this story enough to invest like 20-30 more hours into it, just because I'm just not getting enough from the gameplay.
Did you play the director's cut on PS5, or which one did you play?
The director's cut one, which I think just adds DualSense and stuff, and and a few other things. I don't think it adds too much, because it has like a DLC section that is like set post game.
Yeah, on the island.
Yeah,
separate island. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. And was that on the extra tier of PS Plus? Is that how you played it, or you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, it's like I have to make the most of that subscription while I got it, I think. So I'm going to be playing a lot from it.
Fair enough. What else have you been playing, man?
Yeah, I've also been playing Pushmo, otherwise known as Pool Blocks in Australia and Europe.
Pushmo sounds better.
I like Pushmo. I was theorizing where it's like, I'm guessing it's got something to do with the blocks part being more easily transferable between European languages.
Gotcha.
That's my theory. I'm curious about it.
Yeah, but Pushmo makes sense. Like you're pushing, I don't know, you push mo, like you're pushing more. Like, and it's just cool to say. Yeah, maybe it sounds better in Japanese rather than pushu buroksu. Maybe pushumo. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how you'd say it, but yeah. What do you think, man?
Yeah, because I've been like basically collecting a lot of 3DS games before the shop goes down in March.
Yeah,
Which I don't know, I've been like kind of split between actually spending a lot of money to buy these games or like hacking my 3DS to download the ROMs for it for free. But
yeah,
like the hacking part is like it's a little too involved for me to
yeah,
want to risk this brand new ish 3DS I got very recently. Like
yeah,
it's not old, and I really want to keep being able to play it, and I don't want to screw it up somehow. Which I don't know. It's probably not a high risk. It's just a risk enough where it's like, oh, I don't want to worry about it at all.
mm,
So anyway, I've been buying up a bunch of like 3DS only games, including the Pushmo trilogy, because there's three of them, and then there's a few other games that I'll get to eventually, including the next game actually. Um, but it's like Pushmo is like it's pretty solid. Like it holds up well. It's probably like a bit too easy for too long. Like it only starts getting hard like 70% of the way in or so.
yeah.
And then,
What do you do in the game? It's been a while
it's
since
like,
I've seen it.
what do you do? It's like you kind of like I remember that game Catherine. That
Oh
like kind of
yeah,
it has it's similar where it's like you're kind of pulling blocks in and out of like a kind of
like a 3D.
pixel art
Yep.
structure sort of thing. You know, like each there's like different. Oh yes, like got Tetronimo pieces, like Tetris pieces
Yeah.
shaped sort of thing that you're kind of pulling in and out to get to the top, basically. It's kind of hard to describe as a puzzle game. Actually, I think I have to do it before, but it's like it's simple, and I think the sequels like add more mechanics to it
Mm.
as well. But yeah, it's fun. I'll get to the rest. Like it's I think I got to the final section called like special challenges, and I had like such a hard time with the first one that I immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna have not a fun time trying to finish this game, so I just moved on.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough, my friend.
got my fill of Pushmo, I think.
Yeah. You don't want
And
to push Mo anymore.
yeah, don't push Mo self too far. Um, Last game is Picross 3D Round 2,
Yeah.
3DS sequel to Picross 3D, which I think I mentioned a little while ago because it gave me a headache, the last one. But this one, it's like I played the demo, it didn't make me sick, so I bought it.
That's good.
And it's like, yeah, it's actually really good for a Picross game. If anyone's interested in Picross at all and has a 3DS that still works because it's several years old,
Yeah.
it's really good actually compared to like because it has like has a structure like unlockable books of like puzzles to unlock for in different ways. There's like difficulty settings which I have not seen in a Parcross game before, like difficulty settings that apply to like everything, not just like different sections of the game. So it's like it's very like I really like it so far, sucking away a lot of my time.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to uncover shapes within like a set of like blocks. And it's like
Yeah.
you're kind of chipping away at it, and you get like number codes to tell you, hey, there are. It's like Minesweeper in a way. Oh, there are a certain number of like good blocks in this chunk, but you got to try and figure out which ones to kind of knock out to fill in the shape or like the picture you're trying to get, and it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, definitely. Like I like Parcross a lot since I found out. I think I've mentioned it a few
Yeah,
times. I like
yeah,
Parcross a lot, and this is just the latest time I've spent too much time playing Parcross. But it's a very good one. So
yeah. That's
that.
awesome,
I
man.
think I'll keep it at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you've had the chance to play, or has that been? Because I know you watched Players. I know you mentioned that, which was like that. Was that the one by The Rock? Or no, that's Ballers, right? I've got,
Yeah, that's very different.
yeah.
Um, that's like every time I remember Ballers, I kind of crack up because it's kind of shocking it exists, and then it went for like 6 seasons or whatever. Like it went for a long time because I remember like learning about it the first time when the first season happened, and then next time I heard about it, it was like 4 seasons out. Like I was like, man,
Yeah.
how's there so much of this show?
Of
Anyway,
players
of
of
Ballers.
ballers. Yeah, yeah.
Players is very different.
Players. Okay. I know. This is like that. It's kind of like it's like a comedy about like a fictional group of like esports team, right?
Yeah, so I'll kind of add context. This Players is the next show by the team, or at least some people involved with American Vandal. That was the Netflix mockumentary parody series about like it was kind of true crime documentary riff, except it was about like high school pranks in a very serious way. It was very good. Like it was a very good comic. Like I really enjoyed it, which is why I went out of my way to watch this one. But
Yeah.
Players is kind of doing a sports documentary parody about esports, like specifically League of Legends. Um, but as far as I can tell, I'm pretty sure it's based on The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary series from last year or the year before. Is that what's called, right? Last
Yeah.
Dance?
That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's specifically based on that, but it's actually far less of a comedy than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Like it is a comedy. It's still a parody,
But also deals
but
with like the
it's
drama and the trials and tribulations.
yeah, and the drama's like very like it's pretty serious. Like it's legitimate, trying to be like a dramatic thing as well. It's just
Mm.
kind of got like underlying humor based, but it's yeah. I was very surprised at that aspect. I was very much expecting a comedy,
Yeah.
and it's more like a fictional documentary,
Yeah.
which is not what I expected. But it's like
Yeah.
it's surprisingly great. Like I've been enjoying a lot more than I expected, considering it's not what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's good. I think it's on Paramount Plus. I'm pretty sure. So I've been
Yeah.
watching it elsewhere.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Yeah. Paramount
yeah,
Plus.
but
Huh.
it's yeah, I think the last episode is coming out this week or sometime soon.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
it'll all be out soon. If you want to watch it.
Fair enough. I guess I'll have to get a trial to Paramount Plus to binge this because I don't know what else is on there.
Halo's on there, remember?
Oh, that's
That great
right.
show.
Halo, the fake Halo show. I mean, the real Halo show with its own lore and Master Chief's butt. I don't know, I haven't watched it, so I can't comment on it. But that's all I've seen was the memes about how different it is from the show, from like the games.
Because I watched a bunch of it, but I don't know the games, so I
That's
can't. Like,
hilarious that you're coming from the other.
I know it didn't remind me of Halo though, because like
Yeah.
I was watching it last. I guess we can go if you ever watch it, we'll go into it more. But
Yeah.
it's like if I was watching it when it was airing. I watched it with my sister, and we never got to the last couple episodes, which we need to get back to eventually. But like, because I didn't mind it, but it's very much a generic sci-fi show called Halo that doesn't
Yeah.
really do much that I associate Halo with. Like, it doesn't really seem to have a unique sci-fi world. It seems
Yeah.
pretty broad and generic.
Mhm.
Master Chief has his helmet off all the time,
Well, yeah,
which feels
which
like he almost never has it on.
like
Like,
if
like-
anyone
like-
if that's the only thing you know about Halo is that he never takes his helmet off.
Yeah, exactly. Like every time he shows up, he's got it off, and it's like it just kind of crack up. It's like he's off. Like, why is he not wearing the helmet again? And it's
Yeah.
like it's Anyway, yeah, we'll go into that later, maybe
Yeah.
another time. But yeah, you've been watching some stuff.
Yeah. I watched The Grey Man, which is it's like I think it was Netflix's biggest budget film ever, and it's from
Okay.
the Russo brothers. So the directors of Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Avengers Endgame. Sorry, the Avengers Infinity War and the Avengers Endgame. So it's like I think it was like a $200 million budget or something ridiculous, and
It's like you have to be brothers to get Netflix
to
money.
get Netflix money. Yeah, apparently,
Duck
yeah.
Brothers, Russo brothers. Anyway.
And it's starring, like, basically it's just an excuse to have really good looking people just beat the shit out of each other. So you got, it's like Ryan Gosling plays like this, this black, not black. How should I put it? Like those black ops agents, who don't exist. They work for the CIA, but they don't exist on paper. And he's being hunted by this, like, so basically like Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas are on the run, being chased by a crazed lunatic, played really well by Chris Evans. Like it's like he's like douche mode 1,000. Like it's just a lot of fun and like really good action and like it's like kind of like where Thor War and Thunder, sorry, where Thor Love and Thunder became a parody and just went up its own ass. This kind of does the right mix of action and comedy. Like it's more quip based rather than like gags, which I think is good. And the Russo brothers I think they do a pretty good job of like handling action. the choreography. Obviously, nowhere near. It's still Hollywood, so it's never going to be as good as like classic Hong Kong cinema in terms of showing the hits and everything like that. But it was a lot of fun. And it I don't know, like it was just like a good romp. And like I think we've talked about it before. Like Netflix doesn't really have a good track record when it comes to movies, but I think this is probably one of the first times there's an exception where it's done like a really good job. It's not like a forgettable movie. Like it actually is cool. And
Okay, because the
I'd
trailer
hope to see a
definitely
second
looked pretty
one.
forgettable, to be honest.
Yeah,
It looked very much like this is Netflix doing John Wick with a lot of money.
yeah.
That's kind of what I got from it.
Nah, so like I can definitely understand how it looks like that, but I would definitely recommend watching it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, but yeah, I'll be interested if you get the chance to watch it. I'll be interested in what you think because I think you might enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, might as well. It's just a movie instead of like,
yeah,
an epic television length thing.
yeah.
So yeah, might as well
No,
really.
it's just it's fun. The characters are really cool. Like the way they've casted it, and like everyone plays like a really good role. And yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I hope they make a second one. I really think it could be really cool. Like the ongoing adventures of the Grey Man, which I don't know what Grey Man means. I think that just means like on the run, maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
It's
No
one of those
explained.
like yeah, because I was like, I don't think they explain it ever. I think
Okay.
I'm just like the great like yeah. Anyway, but hopefully the next one gets made because it was a lot of fun and yeah. But given the fact that like I think Netflix wants to spend less money, maybe it may not get made. But the one thing I'll say is that it's like one of those movies now where like there's a lot of CG in the action and you can really see it.
Yeah, I think that stood out in the trailer as well,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
So that's the thing, like they've got all this budget, but it seems like a lot of it went to the casting and stuff, and CGI rather than setting up practical effects. But filming over COVID probably like kind of made that a bit difficult, for the logistics of getting everyone on location. So I kind of understand it, but like that's where like when you compare it to like a movie like Top Gun, which had a mix of great special and like practical effects, it was like and visual effects, like a really good melding of it versus this. It really means that things don't hit as hard as you. It's because like you and I, we just know we can see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more or less.
Maybe the average person can't, and I'm just overthinking it. But yeah, I think regardless, it's a lot of fun, and it's an awesome like way to kill a couple of hours.
But you've also been watching anime, I think.
Yeah. So
what it is? Yeah.
yeah. So I'm watching. Okay. When in 2004, 2005, when I went to India to visit my family, that's when I discovered there's a channel in India called Animax, which is just 24/7 anime. It's like a Sony-run company, a Sony-run channel. It's been around since I think like 03, 04 in Japan. So it just kind of spread throughout Asia because like in India, like there's no like free to air. It's like everyone's got cable. And so when I discovered this thing, I was like, holy shit. And then I was just like, it just became like everyone just knew I watched anime. Like that's just even when I went back a few years later, it was just like I was just like looking for this channel just to see what was on there. And the anime I've been watching is called Wolf's Rain, right? So it's from it's from a studio called Bones, which the studio that made Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. This was made like kind of in between those two, right?
Wait, they make those two as well? Because I know they make My Hero right now.
My Hero Academia, and I think Project Escaflowne, I think is like one of the things that they've been known for. Like the music is done by Yoko Kanno, who who's like the music composer for Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, and quite a lot of other things as well. And it's like directed by the person who directed it, like Samurai Champloo, and I think a few episodes of Bebop and stuff as well. So it was like. It's like there's pedigree to it, and this anime came out in I think 03, 04. But basically the story is that it's like set in like a different version of Earth where basically wolves pretty much extinct, but like wolves are magical, so they can like kind of like for some weird reason, like in this universe, like we are like essentially it follows the story of like a pack of wolves who can transform into humans. And like they can like kind of they look like humans, but they're really wolves. And what they're doing is they're trying to find a path to paradise, which apparently is where it's a place where wolves reign supreme and can live forever. And like it's like heaven, but like and just there's only a handful of wolves left because they've been hunted to extinction by humans. And so it's like kind of like it's really cool, like how they do things like visual tricks where like they'll be walking in their human form, but they'll leave behind paw prints, in the snow or in the sand and things like that. Or like they'll show like a scene of them walking, and then they're transition to that same scene, but they're walking as wolves, as a pack. And it's like kind of cool things like that. Like, and I'm watching it in English because that's what I remember. And it's got like a really awesome voice cast. Probably voices that everyone might be familiar with, Steve Bloom and stuff. But it's just one of those things where I didn't get to watch it fully when I was a kid, but it's like, it's just stuck with me, and I've always wanted to watch it, and now I'm finally watching it. And it's just like, it's just really hitting me in the feels. And I think it's got one of the best opening songs of any anime ever. And it's got a really nice ending song as well. So like, if people like Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, if they like the music to that, they probably like the music to this as well. It's got like a really rocky opening song, which is amazing. And it's just nostalgia just kind of taken over, and I'm like, I have to watch it. And it's just like kind of, it's so cool, man. But the frustrating thing is that I have to watch it pirated because it's on Funimation Premium, like their premium tier or whatever, which was purchased by Crunchyroll. Now, I have a Crunchyroll Premium subscription because I'm watching Spy X Family there, which is on hiatus at the moment. And they have teased the dog, by the way. They've teased it, but they haven't showed it yet. That's in the second half of the season, which I think is coming like in October. Yeah. Which sounds cool because I think that dog's got ability. Look, anyway, that's what they've kind of teased, that there's something about the dog as well. But the annoying thing is, it's available on Amazon Prime, but not in this region. Okay, whatever. Rights. It's annoying because I'm also an Amazon Prime subscriber, but I can't access this. It's available on Funimation Premium, but I cancel my Funimation Premium because Anime Lab got acquired by Funimation, and then Funimation got acquired by Crunchyroll, but for some dumb reason, my Crunchyroll Premium doesn't give me access to Funimation Premium. And for some reason, Funimation still exists, even though it's been fully absorbed, like fully purchased and everything. So it's like, what is going on? Like, are you consolidating? Are you not consolidating? You know what I mean? It's just really annoying. So it's like, if I want to watch it, it's like, I need to then subscribe to another service that I used to be subscribed to, but I cancelled because its parent company has its own subscription. And then it's not available in this region for another subscription service that I use. And it's like a frustrating part because it's amazing. And I don't even know if like if the Blu-ray's still in print and all that. Like it's just, and all the Blu-rays I see available now from other regions which don't play here, and it's really annoying. But it's really frustrating. Yeah.
I feel like that's very much like an Australia thing.
Maybe.
Like less so now, but I remember that being like, because I had like a VPN set up so I could watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Or it launched in Australia.
Yeah.
Like, whenever that was.
Yeah, like
And
pre-2015 or whatever.
Yeah, and then when we got like, a wave of streaming services, it's like it's always very spotty. Just because Australia was such a, forgettable sort of territory. So it's
yeah. And I'm like, it's like, okay, maybe I do a VPN and then I log into Amazon, but what if they detect me and then I get some breach of service shit and then I lose access to all my Amazon stuff? And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I should just try the VPN thing and just pretend to be in the US. But then do I have to create a separate Amazon account, separate Amazon Prime? Because my, like, you know what I mean? It's just like all these dumb things. It's just like, we should have figured this stuff out already. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it's like it's
Yeah.
very much it feels very much like an old anime problem as well, though. I
Yeah.
get what you mean with Funimation, like because it was already there, so it shouldn't be a problem. But it
Yes.
feels like it's like there's so much anime that's just been lost, as far as I'm aware. It's like at least half of it in general
Yeah.
can't be viewed legally anymore. I don't think so.
Exactly.
So
But yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, Wolf's Rain. Check it out in whatever service you can. I'm watching it on Daily Motion because, of course, I am. Because Daily Motion doesn't give a fuck about any copyright anyway.
Yeah, that's like because I mentioned wrestling, and it's like a lot of matches, like high
It's just so
profile match, or
bad,
even
yeah.
like whatever matches that are just
Yeah.
meant to be good, like they're there.
Yeah, like in HD or whatever.
It's very much like the pirate place for
Yeah.
just because no one cares. It's like, oh, that's French YouTube. Don't need to care about them.
Is it French? Oh, I have no idea.
I think so. I'm not actually
Just-
sure.
Anything goes in France, so yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
But
that's what I
yeah,
know about France.
anyway, that's gonna. I think it's time to wrap up. I think we've complained enough
It
about.
is French. Yes.
Oh, okay, because of that emotion. We do not give a fuck about your copyright, as you say. Fuck you. That's my.
All the resting you
my
want.
Yeah, what did you say? You call it anime? Okay, we'll play. It don't matter. Anyway,
Alright, that's
whatever.
enough offensive
That went
French.
Russian there. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's gonna. How about we take one last break and then move into the end of the show. But yes, if you're listening at home or if you're watching at home and you'd love to send in your thoughts, send in your questions, you can write to us at podcast@doublejump.co or head over to doublejump.co and click on our Discord link to join our community. We're working on a revamped Discord server, and we'll have more news to share as we roll out, coming up to the 10th anniversary of Doublejump, which is crazy in and of itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, man. It's,
I always forget how
yeah.
long. Like, because I've only been with Doublejump for, I want to say 3 years or so.
I
Maybe
think
it's
you've
been
been there
longer, I don't
longer.
know.
Man. I think you've been here like
Yeah,
more than
okay.
5 years at least. I have a feeling, mate.
That feels bad for some reason. But it's like I don't know. Span of time is not fun.
What is
But,
time
like,
anymore?
Yeah, but I always forget how. Yeah, you're right. Like it's 10 years. It's wild.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's crazy, but it's a privilege and it's awesome. I really appreciate like all of the people I got to meet and work with, such as yourself through the site and all of the awesome members of the community, and being able to have fun and sharing the laughs with folks at home through like streams or through podcasts like this. It's been a lot of fun. So it's really an awesome time, and really, really looking forward to the next 10 years and beyond. But as always, Double Jump is made possible thanks to the support of our wonderful members. You too can support Double Jump by heading to doublejump.co/memberships and signing up today. We've got some interesting developments happening in terms of how we're going to have memberships and kind of support things going forward. So please keep an eye out on the site for updates like that. But John, it's time to wrap up, and it's been, as always, it's been an awesome pleasure talking with you, man. Hopefully you can watch a bit of the Grey Man and let us know what you think. But yeah, hopefully you get to play a bit more as well.
Yeah. I definitely will play more.
Yeah.
Watch out for Pycross.
I want to finish Ace Combat and play some more Destiny 2, so I'm really excited for that. But until next time, everyone, look out for one another. Peace.